Hey, it's Alex from Make Them Suffer.
Beautiful. Welcome. Thank you so much. And congrats on being nominated for an APRA and Cost Music Award in 2025. What does
Thank
that kind of
you.
recognition mean to you at this stage in your career?
It actually does mean quite a lot. When we found out about this award, we weren't too sure what it meant.
Yeah.
And we did a bit of research and we asked a few people. And I actually think this is something we deserve after the absolute grind that we have put ourselves through over the past 3 years. I sort of feel like this is something we want to win after all the hard work we've put into touring and playing shows and like that's not easy at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I've heard that this is the second year that they've got their heavy metal category, which is just amazing. And to include more of our female artists as well. So yeah, I think when you said that it's an award you want to win, that's so good to hear.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And do you feel like the Australian heavy music scene is finally starting to get the credit it deserves on a global level?
I do think it is. We've spent a lot of time overseas, probably more time playing and touring and meeting other artists and bands overseas than we have in Australia in the past. I'd say like maybe 2.5, 3 years now. And Aussies are known for being amazing. Like everyone's like, oh my God, another Australian band. Like, what's in the water? What's in the water over there? How, what's wrong with you Aussies? Like, you're just a special breed. And I think there's just exceptional bands coming out of Australia that truly are being recognized. We're finally reaching those international waters now and receiving that recognition as being up there with really well recognized, popular, successful metal bands. And we've just finished like we just finished our headline tour in America and we had Wind Waker with us.
Yeah.
And they absolutely smashed it. And it's just wonderful to speak to everyone and have them say, everyone knows Alpha Wolf, everyone knows Wind Waker, North Lane, Amity, Parkway. Like
Yeah.
there's just so many now that I don't think we're even special anymore.
Oh, yes, you are.
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll always be. No, that's so lovely. And I think you're right as well that everyone seems to be rooting for us, even in other countries, which is nice.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when we spend like 2 days traveling to another country and
Yes.
then start playing a 6 week tour the next day. And then, we say goodbye to our friends. Like, it's been great touring with you. See you later. They go home in an hour.
Yeah.
And we're still, checking our gear into
Fine.
the airport. And then, like, it's a grind. It's tough. It really is tough to break out of the Australian market. And
Yeah.
it's really good to see other Aussie bands doing it, but also to have the opportunity to tour with them. I think every tour I've done now, I've had an Aussie band with me, which is ridiculous, but awesome
Yeah,
as well.
that's so wicked. And the heavy music world has traditionally been pretty male heavy. Have you felt that change over time? And what's it been like carving out your own space in that environment?
Yeah, this is a really interesting question because I think as a woman, I don't know any different. And I also grew up seeing a lot of women in metal already. I always used to go searching for it and it was visible to me. But even though it was limited, I never really felt that it was a deterrent. So I find this really hard to answer this question because for me, it's always felt normal. I've always been respected, encouraged. And the more I tour the world, I meet so many women in heavy metal now. And I've toured with female fronted bands. But no one says anything of it either. Like when we're on tour, no one's like, oh, there's two girls. It's not even mentioned. It's just so normal, so respected. And I think maybe that just goes to show now that there is so much visibility, acceptance. Um, Even if you like every now and then I'll go on to maybe a Spirit Box YouTube and I'll watch a song and I'll read the comments. And you've got maybe really old school people saying things like, oh, it's a woman in metal. And then you'll have people underneath going, yeah, what about? And listing 20, 30 things I've never heard of as well. Like it's really wonderful to see. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's just becoming normal now, as it should be.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, exactly. And your self-titled album release last year really felt like a statement piece for you guys. What did you want fans to take away from Make Them Suffer that they may not have heard in previous records?
Absolutely. And again, a little bit tough for me to answer because this is my first one. This is the first album that I was
That
on,
is,
and I'm
yeah,
such a fan of all the albums before that as an objective listener, I suppose.
yeah,
But I feel like this, I really think Make Them Suffer has a really special formula. I don't think people have even seen what is to come. And I think that this album was an opportunity to showcase the skills, the musicianship that this band does possess. And this is just like a little dipping toes in the water. And now there's nothing to stop us really carrying that forward. You know, we've got a change of members. There was COVID. There was a lot of disjointed circumstances that led to this album short on time. We recorded it in 2 weeks in America, so in between tours. So I think if people enjoyed this album, and I hope that they did. I think when they hear what's next, when we've had time to really craft it and sink into it, I think it's very exciting, the future of Make Them Suffer. I really firmly believe that.
yeah, yeah. That's so awesome. And you briefly just touched on then as well that this was your first record with Make Them Suffer. What has your transition into the band been like, say, from then to now? How are you feeling now?
Yeah, when I first joined, felt I felt like I instantly belonged there, but I was so terrified as well because they're such great musicians. And I think that was the thing that took me by surprise was I had been in bands before but this I came into this realizing how much hard work I needed to put into it. And it has taken, I think 2.5 years now I've been in Make Them Suffer. And it has taken that time of putting in the hours, playing those amounts of shows, practicing more than I've ever had to practice, being pushed to a performance level, recording level, a musicianship level. It really is next level because this band has been internationally touring and signed and writing music and releasing albums for so many years. So coming into that, I was like, holy shit, this is serious business.
Yeah, yeah,
But I feel like now I'm fine. And it honestly has taken 2.5 years. I feel like now I finally earned my place. When we walk on stage, I don't feel like the newbie. I don't feel
yeah,
like the one who's like, shit, 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 hope I don't screw this up tonight. I really feel like we're a team and everyone's chill and we just like do our little speech. We do little funny speeches before we go on stage, and I feel like now we're really a team and I belong. So it is a really good feeling to finally be in that space
yeah,
after spending a lot of time going, oh my God, do I belong here?
yeah.
You know?
You know what,
Yeah,
though? 2 years, really, that's not a huge amount of time. And to feel that you're so, such a part of the band already is just awesome. It must feel so good.
it does feel
Yeah.
really good.
Oh, good. And you guys have said that this is your most galvanized era yet. What does that mean to you personally, and how does the band dynamic shifted since the early days, which again, you've just this was your first sort of album, but maybe from your perspective, have things shifted from when you first joined in the dynamics of the band to now?
Absolutely. I think, when I first joined, I came into an era of the band with so much uncertainty. And my perception, like without really, I can't speak for anyone else, but my perception was everyone was really unsure whether they wanted to continue and whether there was a future, just because of so many circumstances that happened. And when we released Doom Switch, we were all, especially me, thinking, is anyone going to like this? What's the response going to be? And I think there was a concession that perhaps it would be a bit of a drop in the standard of the band. Like this is seriously our little dialogue. Like, oh, it's not the best, but maybe it'll be a little drop and it won't do as well, but we'll build from there.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what we expected. So to have that release sort of really explode, I feel really proud of the band because they have had such an amazing success, which they deserve for every release prior. That when this came out, I'm glad that it sort of stood the testimony of what the band had worked for, and they didn't experience that drop, that loss. it's just been a continuation of all their hard work.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and obviously it's a big creative shift. The image is changing, the creativity is changing from previous to now, but I feel like that's the beauty of the internet and music, and you can just win new fans and just keep pushing. And I do feel like everyone's really happy.
Yeah.
We're really happy doing what we're doing now. We've formed like a good family. We've done like brutal touring together, built this relationship, and I think was our last American tour we've just returned from really shows now that we're like solid, happy, we're a team, we're ready to keep going.
Yeah. That's it. You've been through some of the toughest parts of touring and being in a band together now that it's like, yeah, we can do anything.
Yeah, building trust in the
Yeah.
current formula as
Yeah,
well.
definitely. And your 2025 regional tour is a huge 18-date run across Australia. How do you mentally prepare and physically prepare for a tour of this size, especially back-to-back shows?
There's no preparing for a tour. I don't. There's you just can't prepare for it. You just got to get out there and do it. But I can't wait. I get to see places in Australia I've never been to.
Yeah.
I love the fact that we're driving. I'm pretty sure there's only one tour bus in Australia, and this is that tour bus. Like,
Oh,
yeah, like we're on a bus.
oh, that's so
Like we
good.
would. It's actually so cool. Pretty
Yeah.
sure North Lane have used this bus. And I'm quite certain it might be the only tour bus in Australia for real, because it's just not how we tour here. Usually it's
Yeah.
flying, production trucks, all that sort of stuff. So we're taking this bus. So it's going to be unreal. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be super Aussie. Like my vision is hopefully on little days off in between, we get the barbecue out on the beach and we just have a full
Yes.
Aussie experience in the spirit of this regional tour. So I think it's going to be more relaxed
Yeah.
than overseas touring, but I'll report back if it's
Yes,
brutal.
do. Yes.
Or if it's really chill, which I really hope that it's just a chill, true blue Aussie experience.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I hope so. Do you know if the tour bus will have like you guys plastered on the side of it or you
That
don't?
is a sick idea. I don't think so, but I think we could make that happen.
Yes. Yes. Well, you can
That's
credit me for
probably the
that.
best idea I've ever heard. I'll credit you. We're gonna stick something on that bus so that people will be like, oh, let's
Oh,
make them proper.
yeah, yeah. Let's
Yeah.
go annoy them and ask for autographs and
Actually, that's a bad idea because yeah, then we won't be
yeah,
left alone. I will be
yeah.
fine.
Scratch that. Um,
Yeah.
and you guys are playing some lesser toured places like Forth and Narrawarren. How important is it for you to reach fans in those more regional areas?
I think it's really important to give people the opportunity to see us, but also it's just I think it's a different vibe as well. It's way more connected with our fans as opposed to a really big production, like a bigger venue in the capital city. You're more removed from people, and we're still taking production, but it's going to be more intimate in the we will reach more people. We're going to be closer to them in these venues. I think it's going to be a more relaxed, enjoyable, two-sided vibe. And again, we get to go to places that we've never been to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places that we'll play that I've never been to. Um, and I think we have spent so much time as a band overseas that this is our opportunity to like just be really Australian.
Yes.
I
Yes.
know that sounds so ridiculous, but it's just like we just get to enjoy Australia, which is
Oh, no.
amazing.
And we're also thankful for it. The fans here, like I myself live in a regional area, which unfortunately you
Oh,
guys aren't
really?
coming
Yeah.
to yet, but
Oh, yeah.
but one
Yet,
day.
maybe next time.
Yes,
Yeah.
next
I'm
time.
actually surprised by how many people are coming.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
we see the ticket sales, and I've got friends messaging me going, oh, you're playing here. We're going to come. What do you mean? I didn't even know that people would come to these locations and these
Yeah.
places. So really, yeah, I think it's really good that we are doing this for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And with Justice for the Damned and the Gloom in the Corner joining you, what can
Hell
fans
yeah.
expect from the tour's lineup in terms of energy and atmosphere?
Heavy. It's a heavy, heavy lineup.
Hmm.
Um, oh, it's just gonna be heavy. It's just gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I've never toured with Justice for the Damned, but I have toured with Gloom in the Corner. We've played
Mm.
shows with them before. They're awesome people, but I know that every band's gonna be awesome anyway, because every Australian band we've ever played with is just the best. So I think there's going to be lots of fun, some shenanigans, maybe some tour pranks, and then the show itself is just going to be really, really heavy,
Yeah,
which is
sounds
sick.
like it'll be a lot
Yeah,
of fun for
yeah,
sure.
definitely.
And if you had to swap roles with one person in the band for a night, who would you trade with and why?
What a sick question. I'd pick drums because it would be chaos. I'd be so bad. And I would get to sit back and watch everyone try and play. Like while I'm just fucking it up for everyone, just can't keep time, don't know what I'm doing. And then everyone else has to try and get
And
through the
me.
show.
Yeah.
And then I'd make J-Man, our drummer, I'd make him sing for me. Because he's a
Yeah.
really good singer. He's a really good singer. Secretly, when we do karaoke, he's
Ooh.
actually really good. So this could actually work if I
Oh,
practice.
you'd never know, would you? That's so funny. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And how about for you getting into the keyboard? Did that happen from a young age? Did you decide keyboard's what you want to do? And then getting into the heavy metal genre, like how did that all?
No, I did play, thank God, I actually played a lot of instruments when I was young. So
Yeah,
probably between the ages of like 4 and 11 or something, I played keys, I played violin, and I did choir, full classical music, studied music theory. So I did have that background.
yeah,
But then I picked voice. So singing was sort of my first instrument, and I did sing up until today. But when I was asked to join Make Them Suffer, I had to relearn to play the keys. So that was a brand new process, and I did it in secret. Nick and I had the guitar was never the intention, but then Nick, our guitarist, sort of said, "How about a guitar? Like this is awesome," which I'm really glad that we made that choice because it's more versatile than just traditional piano. There's
yes,
like effects and things you can do with it, and obviously pick it up and pretend I'm a guitarist. But learning the keys was really quite difficult, and I spent every single day secretly practicing before we announced that I was in Make Them Suffer. But then the added element is playing and singing at the same time is really, really hard.
yes,
So it's been a really big challenge. And it's interesting because I've been a singer for so long, I still consider myself a singer. But now I've got this opportunity to go, okay, so I can play these songs, but could piano and keys become a really strong instrument again for me at, the age of 36? This could become something. And I've actually started to think about composition and all that sort of stuff, which I just never thought that that would be something I'd ever do again.
yeah,
So yeah, so predominantly a vocalist actually.
yeah,
And
yeah.
keys is the thing I'm always thinking of is like, oh my God, okay, this
Then
is
adding the
difficult. But
keys. Yeah.
right.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. And I often wonder, because I know doing one instrument alone is hard enough, and then trying to add another one in there, remembering all the parts, and then like it's such a workout for the brain.
It is. And I remember when I was going through the process of learning to do both at the same time, it's quite amazing what the brain will do if you just repeat it. Repeat, 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 repeat. Because the piano parts aren't super complex, but it's doing both at the same time. So I
Yeah.
remember distinct moments where I'd think, I'm never going to be able to sing. Like I would be playing the piano and I'd start singing the piano melody. I'm like, no, no, no. But then I noticed at a point where my brain started to be able to do both on autopilot. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like the brain's capacity is quite exceptional.
Yeah.
Um, just repetition.
Yeah. Oh,
A
that's
whole lot
crazy.
of repetition and practice till 3 a.m. and then going to work and then getting up and then practicing again. Yeah.
My goodness. If you don't care to answer, I mean, don't mind to answer, what is your other job?
Of course, yeah, I always make like little jokes on my Instagram, like corporate. But I actually work as an executive assistant for an engineering firm. And previously to that, I worked for like the government and major construction projects. So my current job is I actually manage an office for a group of engineers in the Defence Force. And then I support as the assistant, the CEO, the Chief Engineering Officer for Australia. And I just support him in his job. But I've got a very, very long corporate career,
Yeah, yeah.
which I
Um,
used to think would really get in the way of creativity, but it actually really helps.
yeah.
Um, have like a strong business, organizational, sort of project management background,
Yeah.
that does help with life skills when you're out on the road and you're sort of like, how do I survive?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
definitely. I
funnily
can
enough, those
imagine
skills can
maybe,
go. Yeah.
and you having that creative outlet as well, aside from the, and that is no small side job, by the way. That's insane.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bit of a crazy career. It's really funny because we came back last Wednesday at 12 o'clock. We arrived at the airport. So I went home, went to sleep for however long, and I went to the office the next morning, 8 a.m., walking in my suit. And my boss goes to me, how does this work in your brain? How does this work? Yesterday, you just finished that and now you're wearing this. And he goes, what happens in your brain? Is it hard? I said, it's actually not. It's a switch. It's
Which,
genuinely, I just switch modes, new character unlocked,
that's
straight back into the
amazing.
corporate world. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to not have to do that. Just I'm excited when that,
When
when that,
that's,
I don't have to do that anymore.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, I
Yeah.
hope it's soon.
Thank you.
And what's a song from another artist or band you'd love to cover on tour just for fun?
Question. That's so tough because there's so many. Oh my gosh. I'm just trying to think if I would go heavy. Actually, probably like a brutal. I've got like little fantasies of being a really hectic gore grind vocalist, which is so unrealistic for me. But every now and then I'll listen to like Despised Icon or Impending Doom and imagine that I'm doing these guttural
That's
vocals.
mad.
Like it's me and I get on stage and I do this guttural. So probably something like that. I know that sounds
Yeah.
insane, but
No, that's awesome. I really think you should give it a try sometime. Just shock everyone.
yeah, I mean, it's never too late, right? Isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
that's it. And you guys have toured with huge legends like Parkway Drive, Bring Me the Horizon, and more. Who's still on your dream tour wish list?
Yes. I would love to tour with Alexis on Fire. They're probably one of my favorite bands of all time. And I reckon I'd cry every night.
Yeah.
I've seen them play the most out of any bands. I think I've seen them 6 times, 7 times. And so Alexis on Fire. And then AFI. I'm a really big AFI fan.
Yeah.
And my ultimate goal, this would be the pinnacle of success, would be to tour with Muse. I don't know how that would ever happen because they're just
Well,
so mainstream.
yeah, but stranger things have happened. All these bands you've mentioned, I'm like, I can see it.
Yes.
Honestly, that's so
Yeah, I mean,
exciting.
might as well just shoot for the most unrealistic, impossible goal, and you just
Yeah,
never know. And
that's
even
it.
like Linkin Park, touring with all these bands in our genre. So I'm like, come on, Muse.
Yes, yes, that's it.
But
That's
yeah,
it.
Muse.
There's hope. There
Yeah,
is hope.
yeah, always.
And speaking a little bit more about artists that you're liking at the moment, what are you listening to?
Yeah. I'm so obsessed, speaking of Linkin Park, with the new Linkin Park vocalist, Emily. She's actually become like an inspiration.
Oh,
Obsessed with her, so obsessed with Linkin Park. But I'm really, really into, I think they're Swedish and Danish. I could be wrong. They're a band called Vola. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Vola, but they're popping up in
just
the
recently.
yes, they've
Yeah.
really started kicking off. I think they were touring with Intervals in America at the moment. They are spectacular. They're a bit more of a softer, proggy.
Hmm.
They've got this beautiful Euro synthy vibe. The vocals are just incredible. So Vola, and I'm a really big fan of Catatonia. They're the two bands. They're quite melancholy, both of those bands. I've been listening to them both a lot at the moment. Who else?
Any bands or artists that might surprise us that like a
I'm
total.
was gonna say I love EDM. Sometimes I'll go
Yeah,
down. I can't name 3 songs. Um, that might surprise. No, I
okay.
love generic metalcore,
Yeah,
post-hardcore metal. Like I just give me Spotify best of like the top playlist. Like I love that stuff. I
so
think
do
it's
I.
brilliant.
All the good
Yeah.
ones, all
I'm
the classic.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not like I like egotistical about certain, oh, it's got to be this or that. Like just give me good basic pop metal.
Yeah, yeah. And last question, how excited are you about the APRA AMCOS Awards and being a part of it?
I'm really excited. I hope we win because the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that we have put into grinding and playing these shows and playing these songs, which we love, obviously, but it would be like that's we did it for a reason. And obviously there's
Yeah,
many reasons, but that would be really cool to be like, hey,
yeah,
we won an award for all of our hard work as well. So yeah, it would be
fantastic.
really grateful.
And you know what? Even if you guys don't, which I hope and I have a premonition like feeling that you will, at least you've been nominated, and that just proves, that's something still. And it's
Yeah, we've
amazing
got
to
the
hear.
recognition and it's
Yeah.
great that that award exists. So whoever
Yes.
wins it, I'll be like, if you beat us, like, well done,
Yeah,
truly.
that's it. It was so lovely to meet you. Thank you so
You
much.
too. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure I'll speak to you again at some stage.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks so much, Dara.